Well, welcome everybody. My name is Angela Gunder, and I'm the Director of Instructional Design and Curriculum Development at the Office of Digital Learning at the University of Arizona. I just keep on getting more and more names and titles after my name. It's complicated. We'll talk about that on a different video call. But I am also one of the co-creators of a brand new space at OLC Accelerate 2018, which is called the Speed Networking Lounge. And I'm here with my buddy, my co-conspirator in many things, and also the guy that taught me everything that is important about networking, Ben Scragg, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey
Himself.
everyone. Yeah, that's
Grammar.
that's me. That's right, that's me. Hey everyone, I'm Ben Scragg. And I was just thinking about the layers of bureaucracy I can go through to justify my existence. So I'm the lead design strategist at Arizona State University and a Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College. And the unit I work within is the Office of Scholarship and Innovation. And yeah, Angela, happy to be here with you uh,
Boop, boop.
virtually. In some ways, it's like I feel like I feel like I know this Zoom room. I feel like I've been here before.
So Ben and I have been helping with OLC things for a very long time, and if you ever want to know how conferences get made, this is it. It's in Zoom rooms just like this. No fancier. And networking is kind of like that too. Did you like that segue? Where it doesn't have to be really
Yes.
fancy or complicated, super nuanced or multi-layered. And Ben has demystified some of that for me. But I wanted to talk to you all a little bit about the space that we've created to allow some of this organic networking to happen. And then Ben is going to share some of his tips and tricks that he thinks are really essential for not only folks that are new to networking, but folks that maybe don't know how to sort of find their way within it. So the Speed Networking Lounge is an actual area that's designated in the exhibit hall. And for those that have been to Accelerate before, it's a big, big conference. If you're new to it, what you're going to find is that there are a lot of gems that are all over the place. And you're going to want some time to cogitate, to reflect, and probably continue some of the conversations that you've had with people at sessions. So we wanted to have an area where you could go. It's not as quiet as the sanctuary room, which is in Europe 4, where you'll actually be able to drop your cell phone off, turn everything off, be quiet, still, reflect and meditate. But it'll give you the lounge will give you a space where you can still chat, but it'll be a little bit more focused. And we intended to be a space where you can think about not only the networking piece of meeting new people, but really co-working and collaborating. So if you just want to charge up between sessions, or if you want to take a break for a little bit and either work with some colleagues, new people you've just met, or people that you've come to the conference with, this is the space for you. And we think about it in terms of a hummingbird. I've sort of made it our unofficial mascot, where you can zip in and out. You're just going to come in, you're going to get a little bit of brightness, a little bit of nectar, and then you're going to fly off to the next thing recharged and ready to go. So the space, for the most part, will be unfacilitated. So there'll be things that are there for you to explore and play around with. You can just come on in. There's no formal invitation awaiting you. But at 3 networking breaks, so there'll be 1 on Wednesday and 2 on Thursday. So Wednesday at 2:45, Thursday at 10:45 a.m., and then also at 2:15 p.m., we will have specific facilitated activities that will be available for you, and they'll all have themes. So if you don't want to come in when it's on the quieter side, and you do want a little bit of guidance, those are great times to come in as well. And the full schedule's on the OLC website, so you can kind of see what the breakdown is of the themes. The last thing I'll mention is that when you go to registration, they're going to give you a lounge pass, and what that lounge pass will allow you to do is show up in the lounge and receive all sorts of lavish treatment, which you expect from when you go to scenic Orlando. So you can come in with your lounge pass. There are activities on there that some of them will require you to be with another person. That's the networking piece, but you'll be treated to specialty drinks, snacks, and we'll have puzzles and games in the space the whole time. So if you're a jigsaw puzzle person like me, or if you're a bananagrams person like Ben, you can pop in there and you can play a little bit, relax, unwind. And that's, you know, not only the facilitated pieces during the networking breaks, but the unfacilitated pieces too. So excited to have you come out and use that lounge pass. And the last thing I'll mention is that if you fill out that whole lounge pass, you can enter it for some sweet prizes. So we're trying to make the space as welcoming as possible. And I'm going to turn it over to Ben to talk about how you can kind of get into the groove and the flow of networking.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Angela. And that sounds. I mean, the thing that always makes me feel at home, whether you're maybe if you're new to OLC conferences or whether you're a veteran, is the folks that put these together, I think, are really thoughtful around the experience you're going to have. So it's interesting, you'll be in Orlando and just thinking about Disney and all the attention they put into the experience that people have. And I don't know that anyone there is going to be dressed like King Triton from The Little Mermaid. But
are you like dropping that as like what you want to will into the universe?
maybe somebody call Clark Shaw Nelson, see if he'll do that.
Hundy P.
But I would just say that the space is designed for folks. I think one and oh yeah, a reluctant networker might be able to get into that. Is I think of myself in a lot of ways as a kind of a reluctant networker. That there are lots of times now, right, where I'm chatty or a people person, love to do that. But at a conference, especially where you're deep in thought, you're reflective, you're catching lots of stuff from other people's contexts and trying to make sense of like how would this work for me? And you're also thinking through the challenges of what it would take to make something work. You can want some time for yourself. And the other thing is, lots of these conferences, the interactions are quick, but how do you also justify yourself? And so there's a lot, right, that goes through my mind as I approach those situations. So I think about it kind of reluctantly. So one of the things that happened for me that's really been a good reframe, and I'll use that word intentionally, in thinking about networking is think about the gravitas you bring to it and thinking about why would you network and what would you want to do? And I had an opportunity in the spring to meet Bill Burnett at Stanford. He and Dave Evans have written a book called Designing Your Life. It's a really great book. They put on a workshop where they talked about one of the components was this idea of networking as asking for directions. And it was this really, really interesting way of saying, look, a lot of people aren't necessarily like, what do I do with my hands? Aren't sure what to do when you're networking because, do you start with who are you and what position are you in and try to build a connection for how that person's useful for you? Is that too utilitarian or selfish, or should we treat people as ends in themselves and like delve into humanity? And I think they had a really interesting way of thinking about this, which is, if you treat networking like you're asking for directions on the street, right? How do I get to the student union? Hey, do you know where the nearest park is? Most of those interactions, they're transactional, but they're done from a spirit of kind of generosity and help. And so you can get people to say, oh yeah, you go down 2 streets, you take a left and it's right there behind the gas station. Oh, thanks. Or no, sorry, I don't know anything about that. Or another one might be, hey, I'm thinking about getting a dog. Do you know anything about German Shepherds? Oh yeah, my sister has German Shepherds and is a dog trainer. Let me tell you all about it. Oh no, my neighbor had one, but I didn't know anything about that. You kind of, the idea of asking for help or directions kind of gives people kind of permission to, it's an offer, right? So folks can engage in that, or folks can kind of move on. You're not necessarily trapped in the quicksand of like what you might happen if I corner you at a conference and I'm just going on and on and on. And what you really wanted to do was fill up a coffee and say hi to somebody and keep it moving. So I think that's one of the things we talk about when we think about speed networking is maybe embrace the idea of you're just asking for directions. You're trying to get maybe some guidance on something, or it's a short tweak. And so less than having your whole story, although you can have that ready if you want, or you can have an elevator pitch if you want, but treating it with about the emotional intensity of I'm asking for directions somewhere, and also knowing that everyone has permission to engage that or to say, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm a visitor here too, um, and kind of moving on. So that's like a broad frame. That's me yapping at you about that. How else should we talk about this?
I think that you hit it actually. So, two things for people to take away from this conversation. One, that we have a space for you to come with your questions. Whether you want to know more about German Shepherds, or you want to know more about meaningful student interaction, or you want to know about how to take technology to scale, bring all that with you.
Yeah,
And the second thing is bring it to the lounge, and bring it to the lounge without the fear that you're going to be trapped in some heavy, crazy conversation. It could be just as simple as, yeah, I don't really know anything about that, but I'm here with this other person who does really know about that. And boom, you've hit the heart of networking right there. So we're
yeah.
excited to see you in Orlando. We're going to be in the space as I mentioned before. And if you want to know when and where and why you should be in the space, check out the website. But until then, you can find Ben and I on the interwebs. We'll put our information at the bottom of the video so you can contact us for more information on how to network, how to connect, and how to be awesome. Thank you, Ben.
Bye.
Thank you all.